Welcome to the Pikeville Area Family YMCA. It's indeed a great honor to have the governor and the staff and representatives of our community here today. We have a wonderful YMCA. This is a YMCA where dreams have come true. Honesty, respect, caring, and responsibility are here with us. This project here, our YMCA, is a community project with the City of Pikeville, Community Trust Bank, and others being here to assist us in our community. Child care is a big issue for us here and a big support. We have 113 kids in child care. We gave 140 swim lessons last year. We have 3,902 members, and we have 663 additional participants in programs here. We really appreciate the governor being here, and we thank him for all the support he gives. And I understand he started in a YMCA in his business career. So welcome, Governor.
First of all, let me say thank you to the Pikeville Area YMCA. As a member of the YMCA, I know firsthand what this organization has done for our community. My children participate in the extracurricular activities here, and it has done a remarkable job of helping our youth. On behalf of the Pike County Fiscal Court, Commissioner Ronald Scott, Commissioner Orville Blackburn, and Commissioner Kleinert Atkins, I would like to welcome Governor Andy Beshear. Governor Beshear has some very important announcements. Earlier this morning, I received a phone call and had a surprise visitor in the judge's office. Not too often do you have a governor stop in a county judge's office to talk about projects that are important to the future of this county. We have some other good news. Besides what you're going to hear in a few minutes, Governor Beshear has been named co-chair of the Appalachian Regional Commission. That is an extremely important position, because he will be in a position to help, a unique position to help address many of the long-standing problems that we faced here, and it will help steer additional resources to our eastern Kentucky counties. I want to say personally thank you to Governor Beshear. On July 28th, we had a horrific flood event here in eastern Kentucky. That morning, I received a phone call from Pike County Emergency Management Director Nee Jackson. He picked me up around 6 o'clock, and we headed towards Shelby Valley. Couldn't get across Penny Road. We had to turn around and go up Robinson Creek. And we were at the mouth of Long Fork about 7:30 that morning, a little after 7. And we were watching one of the Swiftwater rescue teams get some families out of a home that were trapped. And my cell phone rang, and it was Governor Beshear. And he said, "We're in the Emergency Operations Center. What do you need? Just tell me." I started telling him some things we needed. One thing was a truckload of water. Before 2 o'clock that afternoon, we had a truckload of water sitting at the Expo Center. Andy Beshear has been a friend to eastern Kentucky, and he's been a friend to Pike County. I want to make no bones about that. As governor, he's probably only second, even if that, to Paul Patton. We all know what Governor Patton did for eastern Kentucky. He worked with former Commissioner Ronnie Robertson, former Commissioner Jason Tackett. Some of these projects have been on the drawing board for a while. His door has always been open. He has steered millions and millions of dollars to this county in the last 4 years. Things like emergency money for replacing dangerous bridges, discretionary money to repair roads like Brushy, where Commissioner Ronald Scott lives, money for water, sewer. And he's worked well with our legislative delegation in a bipartisan way. And bipartisanship can work, and Andy Beshear is proof of that. He's been one of the best governors Kentucky's ever had, and I'm proud to say I am his friend, and I'm proud to say he's my governor, and he's your governor. Let's give a big Pike County welcome to Governor Andy Beshear.
Thank you all. Thank you, Judge, for that incredibly kind introduction. Thank you to all of our elected officials and everybody else in these amazing organizations doing incredible work for the people of Kentucky that are here today. Thank you to the Pikeville YMCA for hosting us. You're right, my very first job was mucking stalls at a farm. But in high school, I picked up a second job of cleaning the weight equipment at the Y that ended up paying for my membership there. It taught me so much about hard work, but also about what the Y stands for, about everybody having that basic dignity, about trying to be there for each and every community, tackling such difficult challenges as childcare and so many more. Our YMCAs across the state are a testament to what the Commonwealth truly is. You all show us how to be incredibly good people. Let's thank the YMCA here and everywhere else across Kentucky. And a big thanks to the Big Sandy Area Development District, who's here today, who helped with so many of these grants, as well as SOAR, for the incredible work that they do. Today, we've got good news. We can't start talking about good news without acknowledging that 6 months ago, this region experienced the worst flooding event, certainly, in our lifetime. We lost 44 Kentuckians, 44 children of God, irreplaceable in their communities, to their families, and thousands of our families literally survived with only the clothes on their back. You were there helping them just like I was. Each family pretty much only had what they were wearing as they escaped. But 6 months ago, not just I, but we made a promise to those that had been through the unthinkable, that we would be there for them every day, every week, every month, and every year, no matter how long it takes. And let me tell you, this will be one of the hardest rebuilds after a natural disaster in U.S. history. It will. We've got to acknowledge that, and it's going to take longer than any of us would like. But I remain just as committed today as I was on that first day, and I know everybody else in here is too. When it comes to helping Kentuckians that have been through the worst, there is no Democrat, no Republican, no red, no blue. There are just the good people of Kentucky that are going to be there for their neighbors. I want to thank so many people that have been a part of that. I want to thank our General Assembly, who came together in a special session, which in many ways was one of the most special of sessions that we've ever been a part of. It unlocked $212 million, which I know is just a start, but with the infrastructure losses and damages that we'd had was necessary. I got to tell you, there wasn't a cross word in that entire session. It wasn't even bipartisan. It was nonpartisan. And I want to thank y'all for coming together with the executive branch and everybody else to be there for our people. And I want you to know we're making progress. It doesn't always feel like it because you don't necessarily see it day to day. But you look at the amount of debris removal that's been done. When we saw in the aftermath, you would think it would have taken years to clean up. It's pretty incredible. Over 200 miles of creeks that have been cleaned of major debris. Hundreds of vehicles moved from those areas. Dozens upon dozens of bridges repaired, though I know we have a lot more out there. And right before Christmas, we got a gift in our first newly acquired land, and that one is in Knott County, where we can build high ground communities where people who choose to can make sure they are never in the same danger that they went through. A little later today, we're going to announce our second acquisition of land to build one of those additional high ground communities, but we are going to keep going to give as many options to those that have been through the worst to never have to go through what they dealt with again. So, this region has been through a lot, but today we're here to invest because our job is not just to pick up our brothers and sisters who've been knocked down, but to continue to march forward, to not let even a historic flood push us backward at a time when we're seeing more investment in Kentucky than ever before. Eastern Kentucky deserves its share of that investment. And that requires that we be here for infrastructure, that we be here for organizations that are helping to move this county forward, and that your state stand with you to make sure that we see prosperity come right here to Pike County with new jobs and new opportunities, with a chance for all of our kids or grandkids to chase every dream, no matter how big it is, within the borders of this Commonwealth and in the region that they're from. So, with that said, today I'm here to announce more than $4 million of awards for Pike County. So let's get to it. First, I'm excited to present $3.5 million from our Cleaner Water Program. This comes through the Better Kentucky Plan, which was a bipartisan agreement between the executive and the legislative branch. It helps ensure that more of our families have access to clean drinking water, which is a basic human right. And let me tell you, after a year and a half of seeing this plan in action, after visiting families that have never been able to turn the tap on before and know they will have that steady stream of water, it changes lives, it changes communities. So, out of this pool, Representative, you want to come up and join us too? And if y'all will join us up here. First, for Elkhorn City, we're committing more than $82,000, it's $82,536 to improve the wastewater collection system in Elkhorn City. We are also presenting more than $300,000 to construct new water mains in the city, which will support reliable water service for 350 residents. So I know we got Elkhorn City Mayor Mike Taylor and anybody else who'd like to come and join us to accept these checks. Absolutely. And that one too. Oh, these are for him.
It's two of them. All right.
Come on in. Here, you want to pass that? And let's pull this up. There you go. Mayor, you want to say a few words about the projects?
Governor, I'd like to thank you so much for this. You know, it's in a start in the right direction. We have a lot of sewer lines that messed up, and I know every county does. Everybody around us do too, and I can't thank you enough for this, especially on the wastewater. We have like lines that's broke. We've had cameras going into them all the time, and I appreciate this. And one thing about it, it's a start, and I appreciate you so much for the money.
Appreciate you. Thank you. Make sure we grab them. All right, next up, I am happy to present $313,000 to the Mountain Water District to install new water lines. This project will provide water to 4 unserved homes in the Peach Orchard area of Pike County. That means 4 of your families are going to have reliable drinking water for the very first time. We're also presenting the district with $1,926,262, those last 2 are important, to replace leak-prone water lines in multiple locations. So would the Mountain Water District board members please join us to accept these checks and say a few words. All right. Now you want to hold the bigger one. There you go. Hold that one up. That's right. She's cuter than we are.
Yeah, definitely.
Come on in. Do you want to hand that to them? Yeah. Can we get some of you holding each check? If that'll work. Come on in. Have you ever held $1.9 million? All right, don't drop it. All right. Anybody like to say a word or two?
Sure.
Right.
First, I'd like to thank Governor Beshear for the funding, and this will go a long way for us in our infrastructure goal to achieve sustainability for generations to come for Mountain Water District and Pike County. Thank you.
Thank you. That's yours to take with you. We get to do things. Oh, yes. Thank you, baby. You did a good job. All right. Our final Cleaner Water Awards are for the City of Pikeville. We've got more than $624,000, but I don't want to short you, $624,000 $24,915 to extend sewer service to a new area of the Cedar Creek subdivision. We're also presenting more than $313,000 to upgrade the city's water treatment plant. So, Mayor Carter, if you please join us to accept the check and say a few words. That's a 313. Let me see, there are two of them. Here we go.
Pat, Allison,
Yeah, anybody
Bob.
want up?
Philip.
Y'all ought to hold the money. Come on in, everybody. Mayor, you want to? Sure.
Thank you, Governor. These are two very important projects. One for Cedar Creek. We didn't realize for years and years, well, I didn't anyway, that Philip brought to our attention that a very nice subdivision that's on a hillside that needs sewer service. They've been using septic tanks for years and years. So, and the other one is the upgrading of the water treatment plant. You know, being the biggest water producer in the county, I mean, this is huge to continue to be able to push the water out to the people in the county and some of our bigger customers as the hospital and the university. So thank you, Governor.
Thank you. All right, congratulations. You want to pass that along too? Make sure you get your second one. Next, we have 6 awards from the Nonprofit Assistance Fund, which are helping organizations across the Commonwealth, especially with the challenges they faced in COVID and coming out of it. This fund will provide one-time direct relief payments to support the mission and long-term sustainability of a bunch of amazing groups that are going to be organized here today, that are going to be recognized here today. I think we all know that these nonprofits do God's work. They help those that have been harmed. They help those in need, whether it's living out the parable of the fishes and the loaves with the food pantry, to helping our children after they've been through the unspeakable. These are people who do incredible work for those in need. So today, we'll start with our first check for nearly $3,000 to Helping Hands of Phelps. This is a local God's Pantry food bank organization that feeds the community both physically and spiritually. I think, Judge Jones, are you going to accept the check on their behalf today? Why don't we all stand? Come on.
Come right over so they can see you.
There you go. We can't get it too tall. All right. Thank you. Well, and thank you to Helping Hands. When we look at the fact that we grow more than enough food in this Commonwealth and in this country to feed everyone, the amount of food insecurity that our children in Kentucky face is just not acceptable. I know it's something that we all want to work towards ending and make sure every single child in this Commonwealth knows where their next meal is going. And while it is not a part of what we're talking about today, I do want to thank these legislators for doing something real special in the last legislative session. When it comes to hunger, it's not just our kids, it's often our seniors. And I was ashamed that I did not know before the pandemic that we had a waiting list for senior meals in the Commonwealth. You know, that means that we knew that there were seniors that were not getting enough to eat, and we hadn't done enough to make sure that every single one of them could get the meals that they needed. In the pandemic, with some extra funding that we had received, we were able to step up and provide meals to every single person on that waiting list. But then your legislators came in, and in the last budget session of the General Assembly provided about $60 million so the Commonwealth no longer has a waiting list for senior meals. That's pretty special. All right, next we've got $100,000 for Appalachian Hospice Care. This organization allows patients to age at home where they want to be most while reducing costs and improving outcomes. I'd like to invite COO Shag Branham to come up here, accept the check, and say a few words. There. That's your name? Yes, my name. Oh, it's amazing. Come on in. Here, hold it up a little bit so they can see it. There we go. That'll work. I've never had a niece hand me $100,000.
How's it feel? Does it feel good in your hands? Yeah, I'm taking it with me though.
You want to say a few words
Yes,
about your amazing?
you know, after the times that we've faced with the epidemic that has, well, the pandemic and epidemic that we went through, the book of Ephesians reads where it states, he will provide for those who do the work. Well, he needs angels, and thank you all for being those angels. Thank you all.
Next, I'd like to present $100,000 for the City of Pikeville Exposition Center, which is transforming the region through arts, entertainment, and tourism. So would Pikeville's city manager please join me to accept this check and say a few words? Where's Philip? There you are. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Move the counter to the middle. There you go. Perfect.
Thank you, Governor, for this funding. The arena, Appalachian Wireless Arena, is a vital part of this community. Paul, our general manager, just told me we have an $11 million economic impact, and that's huge for this region. So thank you for this money that helps us continue those operations.
Thank you. And what an absolute gem that the center is. Everything from hosting SOAR to the blue-white game this year. That was a pretty special moment, and I really appreciate that team, how they did it, and what that event really meant. All right, our next one is for an organization that I know pretty well, and I'm really proud of their work. Today we've got $17,789.38 for Judy's Place for Kids. Judy's Place, yeah. When I was Attorney General, we worked regularly with Judy's Place and our child advocacy centers all around the Commonwealth. What they do for kids who have been through the worst trauma imaginable is first help them seek justice in a trauma-informed way while starting the healing process from that very first moment. This is a testament to the goodness of these individuals, of having to go in and see in many ways the worst of the worst that humanity can do to somebody, but to be there for the very most important people in our society, which are our kids, especially those that have been mistreated. I can't thank this staff and the staffs of these centers enough for doing incredible work. All right, y'all want to say a few words?
I'd like to thank you for this money. I'm one of the founders of Judy's Place for Kids. 24 years we've been here. And I want to remember somebody that had a big part of this was Pam May. We used to meet in her law office. We went from one center to another bigger, and I hope it comes today that we don't have to have this. One thing about it, kids don't have to go to the detention center no more. They can see a doctor here. They see detectives here. Everything's seen and counseling is done in one place. So I thank him with the bottom of my heart for the money.
And then another big thanks to these legislators up here. More funding for child advocacy centers in this last budget than ever before, along with rape crisis centers and other really important organizations. Next, we have the award that is why we are doing it here today. We have $100,000 for the Pikeville Area Family YMCA. As you know, YMCAs are here to build a healthy mind, body, and spirit for every Kentuckian and for every city that they are in. I want to give a special thanks to the staff here that lives out that mission every day, both for hosting us, but also for opening their doors here and across the Commonwealth to flood victims. Flood survivors were able to take a hot shower, rest, charge their phones, and receive donations. Maybe most important, at the YMCA, they knew they were safe and they knew they were loved. That's how important these facilities, but more than that, the people are. Thank you all so much.
We've got a bunch of our board members.
Yeah, bring them all up.
Would all of our board members please come up, please?
All right. I'll tell you what, if you got a bunch, why don't we step in front, and that won't block
Step in
us.
front.
I realized that a couple of minutes ago. Come on, Brittany. You got it.
Hey.
We're very grateful for the award. The Nonprofit Assistant Award was announced, and we were able to do so much in the 2 years of the pandemic. And coming out of it, we truly believe forever in service. And so these funds will help us continue to transform the lives of people in our community, and we're grateful for that. Thank you.
We have a beautiful, wonderful YMCA swimming area constructed by the Elliott Companies, and we thank the Elliots for all they've done. And I'd like to say that we have, according to the governor, the best YMCA swimming pool, and certainly the new addition, the new pickleball courts being number one. Thank you, community.
All right. Yes. And a quick word about the courage of the staff at our YMCAs. At the very beginning of the pandemic, when we didn't know how it spread, when its outcomes were really scary about the number of people that would get COVID that we would lose, the YMCA stepped up and agreed to do childcare for essential workers so that our healthcare heroes and others could be there helping us out. Talk about a courageous act, especially in those early days. We are grateful for the YMCA staff. Finally, I'm happy to present more than $9,000 to another organization that I'm very thankful for, the Salvation Army of Pike County. The Salvation Army is ready with immediate services to help Kentuckians who experience both personal and natural disasters. This year, my wife and I took part in helping the Salvation Army ringing bells, at the same time seeing who would be better. She brought the dog and I lost. But the services that they provide, especially leading into the holidays as we were thinking about it, with so many needing that extra help to have the type of Christmas that we think everybody should have, is extraordinary. So I'd like to invite Ryan Brown, Divisional Service Extension Director, to join us, accept the check, and say a few words. Why don't we step up and take it?
Thank you again to the governor. The Salvation Army has a motto, and our motto is doing the most good. And Governor, with these funds right here in Pike County, we're going to strive to do that. So
Thank you.
thank you.
So none of these awards would be possible without a strong relationship, especially in this region, between your state legislators and the executive branch. There is probably more collaboration with the governor's office and Eastern Kentucky legislators, I would say, than just about anywhere else, because each of these individuals that is up here fights to do the right thing for the region. And while sometimes folks may disagree, we know that when it comes to jobs and health care, opportunities, supporting these organizations, basic infrastructure like water, sewer, roads, and broadband, that none of those are red or blue. They're just really good for our families. So I'd like to give an opportunity for all of your state representatives that are here that had a big part in providing this funding to say a few words. We'll start with Senator Wheeler.
It's an honor to be with you all here today and to be with the governor, spreading the good news. I think what you've seen in the last couple of budgets is record investment in Eastern Kentucky to give us the basic infrastructure we need to revitalize our economy and to move it forward. This would not have been possible, obviously, without cooperation between the executive branch and the legislative branch, but also between legislators and the local governments like the Pike County Fiscal Court and the other fiscal courts in the area, the city of Pikeville, the city of Elkhorn, and other municipalities. I think that the collaborative effort, you've seen the fruit of a lot of discussion and cooperation and a unified vision to make Eastern Kentucky really the vital economic area of the state that it once was. As we transition to this new economy, it's going to be different. But I think that Eastern Kentucky has always had wonderful people, and people are really our greatest resource. And I want to thank the governor for these announcements here today, the work that his administration has done, and hopefully the work that we will do this session to bring even more improvement to the people of Pike County and the rest of Eastern Kentucky. So thank you.
Well, first I want to say thank you, Governor, for visiting our home and bringing good news as you usually do. We greatly appreciate it. During my time in Frankfort, I've heard time and time again that building a better place to live begins with better roads, better water, better broadband, and nice things for the people in your area, where they live and where they visit, for them to do. The investments that you have brought to us today certainly accomplish those goals, and we greatly appreciate it. We look to invite employers to look at our Eastern Kentucky community where we have been building a better place to work, live, and raise our children, and we invite you to come here and take a look for manufacturing, tourism, just come see what we have to offer. Thank you.
First, I want to say thank you, Governor, for bringing forth this great celebration today. And I want to thank my colleagues, too, because without them, this is not possible. Thank you for all your work. And I want to leave by saying thank you all for coming out and taking part of this celebration day. Thank you for your service as well. Thank you very much.
I want to acknowledge we also have Adam with Congressman Rogers' office that's here today. The administration has a great working relationship with the congressman, and whether it's the AML funding, additional funding for ARC, he is a warrior to provide funds to Kentucky each and every day in D.C. And listen, that's good for our people, and it is needed. Wanted to end today with hopefully a hopeful message. We've been through a lot these last 3 years. We have. I mean, as a state, we've been through a pandemic, tornadoes, flooding. Most people don't even remember the 2 ice storms we've been through. We have inflation that, while temporary, is still tough. We even have a war in Europe and its economic repercussions. It can get easy to get down. But you know, there's a psalm that talks about while weeping may linger in the evening, there will be joy in the morning. I truly believe as a state that we are turning the page from adversity to prosperity. We're coming off the best 2 years for economic development this state has ever seen, and it's not even close. Over $20 billion invested in Kentucky in the last 2 years when our average was $5 billion a year. The 2 best year for new jobs, and the number 3 in 4 years for new wages. Jobs are also coming everywhere for the first time that I can remember. I got to announce on the same day new jobs in Bell County and in Fulton County, in the far east and in the far west. Here in Pike County, we've talked about Wright Block and Precast, Community Trust, BitSource LLC. But I know that you need and you deserve more. That's why I remain just as committed to when I announced I was running for this office, to 4-lane the entire Mountain Parkway and to get it done while I'm governor. And right now, just think about where we are. We've broken ground on every section up to Salyersville. We've selected that alternative route so we can keep the current parkway between Salyersville and Prestonsburg open while we do it, and that you won't have any of those stoplights or the rest between Prestonsburg and Salyersville. And I'm telling you, Rocky and I just saw the first company decide to locate in Magoffin County because of the construction that is going on right now. And as we get closer, that's just going to supercharge the options available here in Pike County. I don't know about you, but I'm tired, whether it's in eastern Kentucky or the rest of Kentucky, from our kids moving from our state to another state. As a dad, As a dad of a 12 and a 13-year-old, that's become really, really personal to me lately. I love those kids more than life itself. Their birth are the two miracles that I've experienced in my life, and I cannot imagine a day without them. Listen, I want them to be able to make their choice, but I want them to be able to have choices that are right here, to chase whatever dream they have and to do it in Kentucky. And I truly believe we are closer to realizing that dream than we've ever been before. Just think about some of the companies that have picked Kentucky for the biggest projects in their history. You realize that Ford Blue Oval SK Battery Park is building the largest battery production facility on planet Earth, and they're doing it in Kentucky. When they get done with that one, they're building one the same size right next to it. If you combine that and one that we're locating in Bowling Green, we are now the electric vehicle battery production capital of the United States of America. What that means is there are opportunities in a supply chain that doesn't currently exist. Things like the facility we located in Hopkinsville, $1 billion, 500 great new jobs. And our goal is to make sure whether it's that supply chain or these other opportunities that you see them right here. Because let me tell you, regardless of what's going on in the national economy, our phone is still ringing off the hook. Companies are looking at us, and we're winning every day in opportunities that sometimes we didn't even get considered for. And other states are finally looking at us and saying, man, what are y'all doing right? And I'm looking back saying, I'm not going to tell you. Because this is our chance. Listen, I don't think it's any secret that a lot of what we're seeing right now is just because people are seeing us for who we really are. We are good people that work hard. And when we give you our word, we keep it. When we locate a facility in a community and say we will get you the workers, we do it. When we say we will get you up and running on time, we meet that schedule. We are the reliable, good people that people can bet their company on. And I'm telling you, these companies are now looking to locate all across Kentucky, looking for the place they can be, that big fish to draw that workforce that's out there. And let me tell you, there are thousands of hard-working Eastern Kentuckians that we want to make sure that we get the very best jobs in front of. So, Judge, you can bet we are going to continue to work hard every single day through that product development initiative, which in many ways gives you the dollars to develop your Glendale, where that Ford site went, to make sure that you have the dollars to have the water, the sewer, the electricity, the land that's needed. And as we purchase or acquire these high ground areas, we want to make sure that we have more than what's just needed to rebuild homes. We want to make sure we have enough to provide opportunity on economic development, on health care, on services. Hey, maybe in a couple areas we could even have a new YMCA. So I want to thank you all for having us here today. To close, let me introduce you to a guy you know who's a real good friend of mine, who proves that if you do politics right if it's not personal, but you talk about the issues that you face in Kentucky, you can even come off a race against one another and work together every single day for the betterment of Kentucky. Listen, Rocky Atkins is one of the most hard-working individuals I've ever met. He's one of the first in the office every day, and he brings the big McDonald's cup with him every single morning. He's there at the end of every day until the job gets done. So if you'll give it up for one of Eastern Kentucky's favorite sons, Rocky Atkins.
Thank you, guys. Well, Governor, thank you, and I think you all see the motto behind us, Team Kentucky. And this has been really a Team Kentucky day here in Pike County and the city of Pikeville. A judge to you and those that work with you, to the mayor and those that work with him, for all of the organizations that have been up in front of us today, for your hard work. We're so appreciative. You know, it takes unprecedented leadership in unprecedented times. And I think all of us would recognize the last 3 years have been unprecedented times, from a global pandemic to flooding to tornadoes to ice storms and everything in between. But I'm proud to work for a governor as his senior advisor. And I'm being very honest, and I think if you started counting how many times this governor's not only been in East Kentucky over the last 3 years, but how many times he's been here, Mayor, in Pike County, making different announcements to benefit this community. To our legislative delegation, the working relationship we have with your delegation, Democrats and Republicans, and the governor said it right. The governor's not trying to drive it right or left. He's trying to make sure that Kentucky moves forward. And I think all of the noise you hear on other issues in Frankfort, Kentucky, when it comes to the real things that you care about, when it comes to infrastructure being funded in this budget, the governor and the legislature work together. When it came to responding to disasters across Kentucky, this governor, this legislature worked together. When it came to unprecedented announcements in economic development across Kentucky, our last 2 years breaking every record in Kentucky on private sector economic development, job announcements across Kentucky, this legislature, this governor worked together. And I think it's evident that when people do work together, great things happen. I'm honored to be in this Y today. I do serve on the Y board in Ashland, Kentucky, and the work the Y does statewide is really amazing. And to have a facility like this here in Pike County and Pikeville, the vision of this community, really to prepare yourself for the future. This governor, this administration, we're going to continue to support the coal industry and what it means to Kentucky and what it's meant, what it's going to mean in the future. But we also recognize, you know, I think I'm qualified to speak on this subject. You know, I worked 30 years in the industry. I walked out the door with 1,700 people one day. You know, for us to continue to support that industry, we will in the energy sector. But to diversify the economy of Eastern Kentucky is a must. To bring the quality jobs that our people need and deserve is a must. And the governor said it very well. It is really sad in our region to see anybody leave our region, but we ought to get to the place that the only time anybody leaves our region is because they want to, not because they have to. That's what this governor is working at every day. His focus on our region, his focus on really diversifying the economy of our region and making life better for everyone throughout Kentucky, but especially having a vision on East Kentucky. He doesn't only talk the talk. I think you would agree he walks the walk. So we're honored to be back here today, and we will be back many more times in the future. But let's celebrate the great work of all of these organizations that are here today, that have been up in front of you receiving these well-earned and deserved monies to go back into those organizations. This is a Team Kentucky Day. We will continue our effort. We will continue to work with your legislative delegation. Yes, we will finish that Mountain Parkway. Yes, we will develop these industrial sites. Yes, we will make our region what our people have earned and deserve. And I'll end it with this. Our folks in East Kentucky, Governor, you're right, the greatest workforce, as far as I'm concerned, not only in America, but in the world. A workforce that have gone in these coal mines and flat broken their backs to provide the energy resources that has been necessary for this country. The folks that worked in these mines, they helped us win 2 world wars. The folks that worked in these mines helped provide the energy resource that provided low-cost energy to build the industrial empire of the world. And yes, the folks that worked in these mines, they helped create the strongest middle class ever known to America and ever known to the world. So I'll end it as an Eastern Kentuckian and just say, our people have earned it, our people deserve it. Let's have another good Team Kentucky Day. Thank you all so much.